The man was fleeing for his life when suddenly a huge tail appeared in front of him. Before he could react, he was tightly coiled by the tail and dragged towards the deep sea. But the next second he fell out of his bed. Although it was just a dream for Percy, a demigod, such dreams often served as some kind of omen. So he, along with Rachel and the Cyclops Tyson, headed back to Camp Half-Blood. Just as they reached the edge of the camp, 2 fireballs plummeted from the sky. The 3 of them turned around and started running frantically, yet more fireballs kept falling one after another. They were forced to dash into the forest and race towards the camp. In the distance, a pair of giant hands scooped up dirt, shaped it into fireballs, and hurled them continuously like from a catapult. Percy was knocked to the ground, and as a fatal blow was about to strike, Tyson lunged forward to shield him. Amazingly, Tyson remained unharmed. Rachel explained that Cyclops were born immune to fire. The 3 of them rushed towards the barrier, only to find that Tyson was blocked by an invisible force field. In the realm of the gods, Cyclops were regarded as enemies. With the giant army closing in, Percy refused to abandon his brother. He summoned his weapon, dashed out of the barrier again, and stood side by side with Tyson to resist. As the 2 were on the verge of being surrounded, Rachel had to urgently grant Tyson access to the camp. However, Tyson was so frightened by the previous impact that he dared not touch the barrier again. In the standoff, a giant pounced, pushing the 2 of them towards the barrier. Then the giant actually stood up and kicked Tyson away. The giant by accident passed through the barrier and laughed triumphantly, while his companions were flung back outside. The giant turned around, grabbed a wooden club, and was about to bring it down when suddenly a long sword sliced through the air, piercing his chest. His body turned to ashes. Percy looked back and realized that it was other demigods from the camp coming to the rescue. Rachel, however, furrowed her brows. Why would these clumsy giants go around to the rear and attack the edge of the barrier? Percy immediately realized that this was a feint to draw away the enemy from the real target. Then they hurried to the heart of the camp, the tree of Thalia, which maintained the barrier. Sure enough, they saw Luke furiously hacking at the tree. When he saw the 3 of them approaching, he left a menacing remark, then swung onto a Pegasus and flew away. The 3 rushed forward and saw that the tree of Thalia had dull leaves, a charred trunk, and had been poisoned. As a result, the barrier of Camp Half-Blood was rapidly weakening. When the other demigods arrived, the first thing they saw was the Cyclops behind the tree. They identified him as the enemy and wanted to execute Tyson. Percy tried his best to stand in front of Tyson, but he couldn't hold back the fury of the crowd. Just as the situation was on the verge of spiraling out of control, a golden light suddenly illuminated above Percy's head, and a trident totem slowly emerged. It was the sacred mark symbolizing the bloodline of Poseidon, the sea god.